Hello, the best people in the world, or in the other words, dear listeners of the first episode of the Digital Cockfight podcast. Today there are three of us in the studio. It's me, Ruslan, Federico,
Hello.
and Alex,
Hello.
the most irresponsible member of our team. We are three students of the Cultural Anthropology program in Leiden. We will discuss crypto world, focusing on Bitcoin and how anthropology relates to that. How cryptocurrencies and blockchain technologies unite people into communities of crypto enthusiasts. And later, I will present us with the anthropological views towards the crypto inventions, but also will try to explain Bitcoin communities through the Balinese cockfights. Federico will talk specifically about the experience of El Salvador people, since their government was the first to accept Bitcoin as a payment method, and how those processes led to decolonization processes. But at first, let's start from the easy explanation on what crypto, blockchain, and Bitcoin are for the noobs. Alex, please perform.
So blockchain works in that way. Once transaction is submitted, it goes to a network of computers which should solve an equation. And once it's legitimately solved, the transaction is seen as valid and it's clustered into blocks. Later, with every next transaction, more and more blocks are created and connected into what is called blockchain. In comparison with the internet, which is centralized, the information is being held on servers. Blockchain technology is decentralized. This means that the database of the blockchain can be accessed by everyone equally, and there is no boss of the server. All transactions are recorded on this blockchain, and thus they are traceable, meaning that there is opportunity for full transparency.
Okay, Alex, but how can blockchain be transparent but not trackable?
So blockchain is transparent because it's an open source and everyone can access the information. He cannot delete it, he cannot change it, he cannot make fraud. However, the wallets of the people are encrypted, which means that you cannot track who made the transaction, and this secures the anonymity of the ones who use the technology. Also, unlike banks, there are no opening hours, and thus transactions are possible all the time without any bureaucratic headache and third-party verifications. There is also no human activity involved in the transaction process, so there is no space for human errors.
Oh, okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, so who and why adopted the idea of cryptocurrency transactions? There are many people concerned with inflation, with banks being able to track their transactions, and sometimes not even allowing these transactions to pass. Say it shortly, people are afraid they are not financially autonomous. Looking for an answer for their concern, more and more people see the technology of blockchain allowing them to control their finances without the need of third party to control the whole process. Based on the common interest, they started trading between each other and thus creating more and more flow of cryptocurrencies, allowing the whole technology to develop more. It is actually the fastest innovation ever adopted in the human history, with more than 100,000 new users each day. They all communicate with each other via money or trying to read and predict where the market will go. As mentioned, the technology is still new for the common people, so logically many of them want to enter the crypto world, but they are not sure how to start or what to do. But there are countless groups and forums and video channels where people share information, they help each other. Even the other day, a guy spent 3 hours helping my brother to buy a new cryptocurrency without taking anything in return. And such phenomena I observe more and more often, and it goes against the general view that humans are less ready to help.
Hey, Alex, do you remember what was the name of the coin that your brother bought? Oh, I would love to be the part of that community.
It's called Flocky Money. Maybe it doesn't talk that much to people. It's again example of a community-driven coin. So it was created from a community, supported by this community, which grows bigger and bigger.
Okay, but it's a meme coin, right?
Still, I mean, it shows the importance of the community. They can drive a whole currency.
Okay.
Interestingly, blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies do not only change the financial world, they have a huge impact on changing the dynamics of communication. Because of crypto, many people found their place in groups whose members share and help each other all the time. It helps us to see a tendency in society. When people share common goals, they ally and work together for the benefit of everyone who is interested in the new technology. It also shows that crypto is not just a technology, but it is a reflection of the beliefs of the one who want financial autonomy. Exactly these beliefs are one of the main things that the study of anthropology is looking at.
Great job.
All right. Thank you, Alex. But yeah, now it's me speaking. Well, I have done my research and read a few articles on anthropological views towards crypto, and I really got surprised how connected anthropology and the crypto worlds are. Anthropologists already recognize Bitcoin as money, while not all of the economists do.
What do you mean by that? Why does it happen that anthropologists recognize Bitcoins while economists do not?
Well, yeah, let's start from the how anthropologists prove that. Well, there is one anthropologist, Doncha Kavanagh, for example. They explain that because of the fact that people actually call Bitcoin as money and use it as money, it becomes money. Even if the top doesn't recognize it, the bottom does. Since the crypto is often viewed as the alternative to fiat currencies are the ones produced by governments like dollars, euro, rubles. Anthropologists can analyze crypto as true money, while economists, for example, are too enchained to the idea that fiat is the only possible and true money. In that sense, we find out about the epistemological fallacy that continues to be reproduced by the mainstream economists where they do not recognize crypto as the truth, even though people try to bring it from the bottom to up.
Okay, thanks. Great. That's a great explanation, Ruslan.
All right. Well, the Bitcoin is something that has never happened to humanity before. And since this is a such life-changing thing, we have to work with it, make sense of it. We cannot intervene or control it, but it's not the aim of anthropology. We just want to look at new processes and how people handle crypto. That could be done through the understanding of the huge digital community behind Bitcoin. People who are united because of their holdings, the memes around the crypto, and already existing ethos of the work on crypto and the creative energy around that.
Ruslan, but the introduction you mentioned cockfights. How you're gonna connect all these with cockfights, man?
Oh, this is the best part. I know that you all remember Balinese cockfights, described by Geertz. Well then, I would like to present an explanation of Bitcoin through the Balinese cockfights. How, you would ask? Well, thanks to Mick Marucci and his great article on Balinese cockfights and Bitcoin, we can discuss it. Many people see Bitcoin not as money, but as a gambling method. Same happens with cockfights. Many tourists, for example, from developed countries, see the Southeast Asian traditions as primitive and dumb. And however, both of those activities have deep social significance. I mean, the Bitcoin trading and cockfights, gambling. It's not just the gambling aspect. From the Geertz experience, we can remember that cockfights are often associated with fights between kin groups, and that the profit from the fights is the only secondary goal. But the cultural scene of the process and reputation are the main goals. Imagine a cockfighting arena with two rows. One of them is really close to the fighting scene, and all of the kin sit there. The other row is located far behind the first one, but there are many more people sitting. To understand the embedded social meanings of such process like Balinese cockfight, you will have to be present in inner circle of the event, while indeed the outer circle participants are there only for money and show. Same scenes you can imagine with the Bitcoin community. The inner circle consists of real enthusiasts who discuss and care about technology and the new definition of the economic freedom. But of course, they also hold Bitcoin for the profit, since they believe in its long-term rise. While the outer circle consists of speculators who care only about investing into Bitcoin to later trade it and get more fiat back, they really see this as investing into cryptocurrencies as the type of jumpstart and gamble to get rich fast. They do not care about technological revolution that much that crypto brings. The total technological disconnectedness of those two processes is fascinating, but social dynamics are alike. This is how beautiful digital anthropology is, because we can talk about things like that. Yeah.
I love the association, man.
Yeah, that's great. I would have never thought about that before. And you also make it very clear how different groups of people are within the Bitcoins community. But now I want to talk about my part, which is not that specific about Bitcoin since I'm not an expert, but it's very related to modernity and governments and policies. Indeed, I looked at El Salvador, which is a small country in Central America, a little over 6 million people, and with very limited internet access. But this has become the first nation in the world to adopt Bitcoin as an official currency beside the US dollar. In order to understand this massive economical move, I think it's important to understand by whom this whole cryptocurrency idea was started. The president, of course. This president is named Bukele, and he ran for presidency in 2019 as a political outsider. He is known for his pragmatic and businessman-like tone, mixed with populism and promises of innovation, and this made the Salvadorians really appreciate him. Now, let's talk a bit about how this Bitcoin revolution worked in El Salvador. First of all, the government built a network of 200 Bitcoins ATMs, and they also created a Bitcoin wallet app called Chivo. And through that, they distributed $30 worth of Bitcoins to every citizen in the country. The president claims that over 2 million people use the Chivo app so far. Now we need to talk a bit about this app because there are some critics, and I think Ruslan may have some interesting position about this.
Yeah, actually, I've read an article about that. And since the app was made by Salvadorian government, all of the public keys of the wallets, of the crypto wallets created there, are in the governmental hands. So the system becomes centralized. This creates a fundamental contradiction to the idea of Bitcoin, where decentralization mechanism is in its core. There are also incidents when it's known that users of Chiva could not transfer their cryptocurrency to other non-Chiva wallets. And that makes the problem even scarier in terms of freedom of money. Yeah, thanks for giving me this opportunity, Federico.
Okay, thank you so much, Ruslan. But now let's see how Bitcoin was presented, with which goals, and why. First of all, for the president, the Bitcoin policy, it's not just about the immediate economic impact. It's also a chance to rebrand El Salvador from a country that is known primarily for its gang violence and its sluggish economy to a modern hub of innovation and a crypto pioneer, let's say. Also, the president is it's aligning his country with the anti-establishment crypto community. Although, as we saw before, as Ruslan was explaining, this is not completely true because of the centralized issue related to the Chivo app. Now, let's see how Bitcoins are a powerful instrument of empowerment and decolonization. Because the president is not alone advocating for cryptocurrencies as a way of developing economies to bypass a global financial system in which access to services and investment are geared towards the world's richest countries and individuals. Crypto has achieved its highest penetration mostly in countries where banking systems are costly and complicated to use, or where local economies and currencies are unstable. Bukele is using Bitcoin as a way for Salvadorians to reduce the fees that they pay to receive and send remittances. Indeed, remittances make up for 22% of the whole El Salvadorian GDP. Okay, but now let's turn towards the main critiques that have been appointed towards the introduction of Bitcoin in El Salvador, because not everything is positive. First of all, there are problems with the people of El Salvador, the citizens, because the law establishes that all economic entities must accept Bitcoin as a form of payment, and they had not received any training or guidelines from the government before this announcement. So the policy is creating uncertainty and chaos. As some polls from July showed, more than 77% of the population rejected and didn't like the introduction of Bitcoins. And media outlets in El Salvador report long queues at the ATMs, where most people are converting their Bitcoins to take dollars home from them. Indeed, in the first week of the rollout, one of the country's largest banks told that the cryptocurrencies accounted for fewer than 0.0001% of their daily transactions. The Bitcoin law has sparked the first major protest of his presidency. More than 8,000 people marched in San Salvador, the capital, on September against Bitcoins. Another issue with this Bitcoin introduction is the fact that Bitcoins are considered a gamble. In fact, the law that has attracted global attention, but Bitcoins are known for their volatility and fluctuations. Another issue is related to the whole Bitcoin community, in particular with crypto investors. And I think that Alex may know something more than me about this issue.
Yeah. Since Bitcoin is legal tender rather than an investment asset, foreigners who have moved to El Salvador will not have to pay capital gains tax in the country on any profits made if the cryptocurrency's value increases. The crypto community want to portray themselves as bringing a future and development through Bitcoin, but most of them are not interested in the country, just business. Just business for them.
Thank you so much, Alex. This is great. Although the backdrop to El Salvador experiment hasn't undermined the excitement for those who want cryptocurrencies to be more widely used. Indeed, Bitcoin Twitter has been filled with tweets celebrating how easy it is for Salvadorians to use the currency around shops like Starbucks and stuff like that. Although it's too early to tell if the buzz will be matched by the significant investment that Bukele is hoping for.
That will be the end of our podcast. Thank you for being with us. If you want to discuss something or ask a question, please stalk us in the real life and ask them personally, or just take a look into the description under the YouTube video. All of the sources we used are there too. Bye, and thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
This is disgusting.
Great job, guys. No, I don't think it's disgusting.